The tank, heavy assault, Tortoise was a British heavy assault tank design developed in World War II but never put into mass production. It was developed for the task of clearing heavily fortified areas and as a result favored armour protection over mobility. Although heavy, at 78 tons, and not readily transported, it was considered reliable and a good gun platform. Only a few prototypes of the Tortoise had been produced by the end of the war. Development. In the early part of 1943, the Allied forces anticipated considerable resistance in the projected future invasion of Europe, with the enemy fighting from heavily fortified positions such as the Siegfried Line. As a result, a new class of vehicles emerged, in the shape of assault tanks, which placed maximum armor protection at a higher priority than mobility. Initially, work was concentrated on the Excelsior tank, based on the Cromwell tank. There was also a program to upgrade the armor of the Churchill tank. For similar work in the Far East, the Valiant tank, based on the Valentine tank was considered, although weight was specified to be as low as possible. The Secretary of State for War and the Minister of Supply issued a joint memorandum in April 1943 that gave a vague specification for an assault tank, classing it as a special-purpose vehicle to operate in heavily defended areas as part of the Specialist 79th Armored Division. The Nuffield organization responded with 18 separate designs drafted between May 1943 and February 1944, each design larger and heavier than the last. By February 1944, Design AT-16 was complete and was approved by the Tank Board, who proposed that month that 25 should be produced directly from the mock-up stage without bothering with a prototype, to be available for operational service in September 1945. An order for 25 was placed by the War Office and work was begun. Following the end of the war, the order was reduced and only 6 vehicles were built. One example was sent to Germany for trials, where it was found to be mechanically reliable and a powerful and accurate gun platform. However, at a weight of 80 tons and a height of 10 feet it was extremely slow and proved difficult to transport. Description: since the Tortoise had a fixed casemate superstructure instead of a turret, it can be classified as a self-propelled gun or an assault gun and not a tank. The crew included a commander, driver, and gunner, with 2 loaders for the 32-pounder gun and 2 machine gunners. Internally, it was split into 3 compartments, the transmission to the front, the crew in the center and the Rolls-Royce Meteor engine at the rear. The suspension consisted of 4 bogies on each side each of the hull. Each bogie had 2 pairs of wheels, with each pair linked to a transverse torsion bar. The Merritt Brown transmission was fitted with an all-speed reverse, giving approximately the same speed backwards as forwards. Armament: the Ordnance QF 32-pounder gun design was adapted from the British 3.7-inch anti-aircraft gun. The ammunition used to separate charge and shell, the latter a 32-pound armor-piercing shot. In tests, the gun was successful against a German Panther tank at nearly 1,000 yards. The 32 gun was mounted in a power-assisted limited traverse mounting. Rather than being mounted on the more traditional trunnions, it protruded through a large ball mount in the front of the hull, protected by 225 mm armor. To the left of it was a Bisa machine gun in an armored ball mount. A further 2 Bisa machine guns were mounted in a turret on the top of the hull to the right. Survivors: one of the 6 prototype Tortoises constructed of mild steel has been preserved at the Tank Museum in Bovington, England. The vehicle is in running condition. A 2011 overhaul saw it running under its own power for the first time since the 1950s. It was shown to the public in June 2011 at Tankfest 2011, the Bovington Museum's annual display of running vehicles. A Tortoise, without its gun, lies on the Kirkcudbright military training area near Kirkcudbright, Scotland. Other damage to the tank and the designation of the Kirkcudbright training area as a site of special scientific interest mean that removal of the Tortoise to a museum is now unlikely. Another Tortoise was used as a target on Lulworth Ranges, Dorset in the early 1970s. By August 1974 it was little more than a shell. See also, T-28 Super Heavy Tank, a comparable U.S. project, few prototypes built. Super Heavy Tank, Jagdtiger, a comparable German project, produced in limited numbers. ISU-152, a smaller Soviet vehicle, one cancelled version of which was a comparable project. One prototype built. Notes. References: Voss, Christopher F. The Encyclopedia of Tanks and Armored Fighting Vehicles. Spellmount. ISBN 1-86227-188-7. Chamberlain, Peter. Chris Ellis. British and American Tanks of World War II, The Complete Illustrated History of British, American and Commonwealth Tanks, 1939-45. Castle. ISBN 0-304-35529-1. Chamberlain, Peter. Chris Ellis. Tanks of the World 1915-1945. Castle Military. ISBN 0-304-36141-0. Forty, George. The Illustrated Guide to Tanks of the World. Hermes House. ISBN 0-681-45905-0. External links: Tortoise at Bovington, 1969, Armour and Focus, A39 Tortoise Heavy Assault Tank Specifications, Pictures, A39 Tortoise at World War II Vehicles.